taking time to reflect on that for yourself before you bring up a conversation. What is it that I need to thrive? What are the dreams of mine that are on the back burner? And how can I continue to honor their dreams in what I ask them to do, how I'm willing to sacrifice? But then once you've had a chance to reflect on that for yourself, really choosing your timing and your tone in how you bring it up to say, hey, I want to have a team meeting about what our plans right now and what dreams are we building toward together? How are the choices that we're making right now conducive to that direction, or how is it holding us back from being a team where we're both thriving, where we both have joy about what we're doing? And if not, what adjustments can we make? Because when I'm doing well, I've got more to pour into you, and when you're doing well, you've got more to pour into me.
Welcome to the Andrea Engstrom Show for bold women in business. We are passionate about helping you break through to your next level of abundance, success, and freedom so that you can create the life you desire and inspire others to do the same. I'm your host, Andrea Engstrom, and I'm here with my gorgeous co-host, Brenda Stroud. Hey, Brenda.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey. And our amazing guest today is Rachel Engels. Rachel is a licensed therapist. She offers counseling and coaching to help you overcome life's challenges and reclaim a life that you love. Rachel helps couples have vibrant marriages and get back to joy. And so welcome to the show, Rachel.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here with you ladies today.
Yes, yes. Now, Rachel was a guest speaker at the Bold Impact Summit in April this year when we launched the Bold Confidence book, and you were one of the major standouts for me. I was you said that you knew that you were doing well because I kept crying. I was like, yeah, totally. And so she talked about the brave pivot of building a business and marriage that actually work. And this just hit so hard with me. And I was like, we got to get her on the show to talk about this. So I'm so excited to dig in with you.
I'm excited too. Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, Rachel, one of the things that first of all, I want to talk about what is your business today that you've built and kind of where did your career progress from? Like, where did you start and where are you today and what you do?
Yeah. Well, it's a we story when I tell that, because my husband and I have been trying to build our careers in tandem with each other. And so my movement forward has always hinged on and pedaled back and forth with his. We, in our early marriage, we spent our first few years in rural Pennsylvania. Then we moved to LA for him to pursue his career in TV and film production. That was his heart. That's what he had studied. I resisted it at first, but it was like, this is what's going to light him up. We got to try it. And I had been going to school for counseling. And so when we got to California, I was working a full-time job to cover our insurance benefits, but on the side, I was completing my 3,000 hours to become a licensed therapist. And that's what I did pretty part-time for a while he was working his 15, 16-hour days on TV sets and raising our two little kids. And I have loved that work. I feel like it's such a fit and a calling for me. But finding a rhythm of work that's been sustainable for our family has been the challenge over time. And so I realized both that our biggest strength as a family was going to be my schedule flexibility, that I needed to be able to pick up the slack anytime he got a call for a show, because you accept it within an hour or they move on. And when you take on a show, it's at least 6 months of 15-hour days. And so everything has to fall on me at a moment's notice. And so while the kids are in school or while they have childcare, that works great to be doing my therapy practice. But when there's a pandemic and you cannot get childcare or other complicating factors, you really need something with more flexibility. And so that's led me into the coaching field as well. I still maintain a thriving counseling practice, which I really love. But I've learned that I can take what I've been teaching couples and walking through with them over the years to broader audiences and do it in the form of courses and workshops. So that's how it's evolved over the years.
Yeah. So tell us more about that season in your life when you all had to make a big pivot.
Well, there have been so many ups and downs and so many decision points. Every time a new opportunity comes, we have to immediately decide, are we going to go for this? And when you're trying to build something in the TV world, you don't waste time. You take every opportunity you get, you work your tail off to make it happen. And so I was in for that for a long time. And I wanted to see my husband succeed. And it's always just one connection away or one big show away that gets you in the door for future things. Everything is word of mouth. So it's all about, you got to build relationships, you got to be available. But after doing that for so long, probably 10 or 11 years, and raising my kids basically as the primary default parent, really feeling like a solo parent a lot of the time because of his schedule, I was not doing well. I remember standing in the kitchen at one point and telling my husband, I am very close to not being okay. I could not stop crying. I was exhausted all the time. If I ever wanted to see him during the week, it would be at midnight when he finally got home. And by then I was dead tired and had to get up early to bring the kids to school the next morning. So I was running myself ragged. And being a therapist, I was adamantly against any kind of medication for myself, but I had to go on an antidepressant because I didn't have the margin anymore or the joy to be the kind of parent that I wanted to be. And I remember saying, well, I guess my brain is the last thing to go. And I am so sad remembering that story that I allowed it to get to that point for myself. But I think it was also a wake-up call that if I fall apart, this is bad for all of us. I can't sustain a family. I can't do business or help my clients if I'm a shell of a person right now. And so there were a lot of ups and downs in the job opportunities that would come for him. There were 2 major labor strikes. The pandemic really got in the way. But as we were starting to come out of all of that, a huge show called and offered him a position, but it would require him going out of state to Montana for 6 months. And at first we thought, okay, well, if it's during the summer, maybe we can go as a family and the kids won't be missing school and we'll make it an adventure. But because of the strikes that were happening, there was still one happening at that time. The start date kept getting pushed later and later and later. So they would say, okay, you're going to start next week. And then they call back and say, no, actually, we're going to push it for an indeterminate amount of time. So being on that roller coaster of, okay, I'm doing life without him. Okay, wait, he's here. Okay, what does this look like?
Mhm. Right.
And realizing it would be 6 months of winter with him gone, I lost it when they called for the 3rd or 4th time to say, actually, we're going to postpone your start date again, which also meant postponing his income, postponing everything about our plans. I just, we had company over at our house when that phone call came, and I couldn't handle myself. I couldn't say what I needed to say. I couldn't scream how I needed to scream or cry like I needed to. And I just went out into the driveway and sat down under the stars and was sobbing. And bless my husband, he came out to find me after a few minutes because he knew something was not okay. And I said, I need you to say no to this. I know this is the biggest opportunity you've ever had, and it could be the thing that changes everything, but I will not be okay. And we will not be okay if we take this step. And so it was a crazy moment to have to ask him to set aside his dreams, his best opportunity, and take a chance on me and what I could build in my business if I had the stability of him around, and to give our relationship the chance to heal, my mental health a chance to heal. And he said, okay. And that was a huge turning point in our business, but also in our life, to know that I've got a partner who will sacrifice when it counts and who will trust me to be his teammate. And that really meant the world to me.
Now, by the time this happened, how long had you all been married?
This was probably 14 or 15 years in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So been through some rough seasons up to that point, but never something that was we'd never been so close to his success before. And so it was bigger stakes than anything else had been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, girl. And I'm sitting here with tears rolling down my cheeks because I can't hear this story and not cry because I feel like I've been in this situation in my life with my husband where we've had that back and forth a little bit of like, what are my dreams and what are your dreams, and how do we make both of those, how do we honor each other in that moment? So I know you have some practical things that you learned from that experience. I'd love for you to share, like, guide us through, like, what are some steps that people can take if they're listening to this right now and they're crying like I am. What are some things that you would give them as help to, like, if they're navigating a difficult season like that, or they want to be prepared because they're working on a big dream and they know that conversation is coming?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the principles that I always come back to in my own mind and with my clients and in coaching is that in marriage, you are a team. And so what's good for one of you is good for both of you. And on the flip side of that, what's bad for one of you is really bad for you both because it's hurting the team. And so I think I needed permission to take up space and to realize his decisions, his choices in work, in life, do not have a neutral impact. It directly affects my functioning as a person, my mental health, our kids, and therefore it's going to affect everything about how I show up for him as well as for myself. And so giving yourself permission to exist and to calculate the cost of something on you as a person is so important. And I think about it too in terms of loving your neighbor as yourself, loving your teammate as yourself means you also have to love yourself as you love your teammate. And if you're not doing okay, I think both for me, the physical toll was really obvious, but the other key signal to pay attention to is resentment. If you are feeling resentment, every time my husband would get a call for a new show, my stomach would drop. And I would just have this huge sigh of defeat. Like, okay, there he goes again. And we can put up with those things for a while. But over time, if it continues and goes on and the toll gets bigger, that adds this wall of resentment that's going to be really difficult to overcome, no matter how much you care about each other. And so I really think paying attention to that resentment, it's like taking out the poison drip in your relationship. You've got to pay attention and let that speak for itself. I think another thing is really to choose your timing, choose your approach, and how you bring that up in conversation with your husband. It's not a my dream versus your dream. It's not a battle. It's not one person trying to win or persuade the other, but it can be a conversation of, what do we need in order to function well as a team so that we can both pursue our dreams, so that your dream has a chance to thrive and so does mine. And maybe it's not in an order that we expected or in the timing we expected, but what's going to help us both come alive as people? How do we make decisions around that? And so really taking time to reflect on that for yourself before you bring up a conversation. What is it that I need to thrive? What are the dreams of mine that are on the back burner? And how can I continue to honor their dreams in what I ask them to do, how I'm willing to sacrifice? But then once you've had a chance to reflect on that for yourself, really choosing your timing and your tone and how you bring it up to say, hey, I want to have a team meeting about what our plans right now and what dreams are we building toward together? How are the choices that we're making right now conducive to that direction, or how is it holding us back from being a team where we're both thriving, where we both have joy about what we're doing? And if not, what adjustments can we make? Because when I'm doing well, I've got more to pour into you. And when you're doing well, you've got more to pour into me.
One of the things that's really striking about your story, because, it wasn't just any old show or shoot in Montana. This was a big one. Right?
Yeah. Should I say names?
Yeah, I would tell people
it was Yellowstone, which is one of the ones people actually know about. I mean, he's worked on some things you've never heard of, but it's a big one. That's in the common household, vocabulary at this point. And it would have been an entry point, not only into that level of visibility, but the crew that work on those kinds of shows. Crews, if they work well together, they stick together and they go from show to show to show. So it probably would have opened more doors for him, but it would have been at the cost of our marriage and our kids. And they were missing him just like I was. And so to realize that it's not a dream we want if that's the cost that comes along with it, we've got to recalibrate this.
Yeah, I think that when people think about what would be great for our careers individually, that they don't always factor in how is it going to affect the rest of my life.
Mhm.
Because, let's say, he would have taken this big opportunity, or you would have taken another opportunity, but it would have cost you your marriage. There, we see a lot of people that go through that and they end up losing their marriage or their relationship with their children. Sure, they've made some financial, benefits or, from taking the opportunity. But in the end, you have to weigh the cost for all of your decisions. And that's what I'm hearing you share today, is that you were able to weigh the cost against the quote unquote big opportunity, because the bigger opportunity from which I agree with you is your family and your relationship with your husband and with your children. So I think a lot of times people get so caught up in the opportunities that their education has afforded them or their job has afforded them, that they think about the family or their marital relationship last.
Yes. Yeah.
So hearing you share this is a reminder that you've got to put what's going to be most important to you first, which is your support system, your relationship with your family. That's very important. So I'm glad that you shared this, because it serves as a reminder that, what you think success is not actually what success is.
So
You got to
true.
count the cost of everything.
Yeah.
It makes me think too of my very first job when we first got married. We got married really young. I was doing a ministry job that I was really excited about, but the circumstances of it were not what I expected. It was not a good fit. And I had made a 3-year commitment verbally to sticking with this. But I thought, if I stick this out for 3 years, I'm going to die. I'm going to fall apart. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to have a break of some kind. And it was really putting a lot of strain on our very new marriage and all of that. And it was so helpful to me. I had a spiritual director at the time who was talking to me about this idea of calling and ministry. It's a calling. This is so important. I made a commitment. And she said, but you have other callings too. And one of them is to your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what I needed to hear to
Yeah.
release me from something that was a noble thing, a good thing, a successful thing. But it was not
The right
good
thing.
stewardship of the rest of our life.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoo. Talk to us, because not everybody feels equipped to have or to ask for what they need, because we've spent the majority of our life making sure everybody else is taken care of, making sure everybody else is comfortable. And so this is a new skill. And so help us with some, how do you have that kind of conversation? Like, how do you prepare yourself, but also the words, what do you say in that moment?
Oh, well, there is so much nuance to how you approach these things, what you say. The first and most crucial thing is you have to be in an emotionally regulated state to be able to have this go well in any way, shape, or form. So if I had tried to have a conversation right when that phone call from Yellowstone came, postponing again, and I was ready to scream, that would not have gone well. I'm glad he gave me a few minutes out in the driveway to get myself together a little bit, because when we are emotionally activated, the other person in the conversation is picking up on that tension. We're likely to say something that is accusatory or is too global of a statement, and it immediately raises their defenses. So in order to have a productive conversation at all, we really have to work on getting ourselves in an emotionally regulated place, which basically means reminding yourself, I am still safe. I'm still okay. I'm still loved. When we get all bent out of shape emotionally, it's because I feel unloved or I feel unsafe,
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, I was feeling so unsafe. I don't know if I'm going to have my partner when I need him. Am I going to have to raise these kids all by myself? Am I going to fall apart in the process? It was so unsafe and so unpredictable. And so getting to a place to talk myself through even a little bit, I don't have to say yes to this. This
Mm-hmm.
doesn't, just because it's a thing on offer, it doesn't mean this is our reality. And to remind myself of the truth of our relationship, that I know he cares about me. I know he wants me to be okay. I know he would not want to make a choice that devastates me. And he knows that I want the best for him too. And so part of having a conversation like that is all the moments leading up to it, when you show with your actions and your words, we are for each other
Mm-hmm.
and we want what's good for each other. And so even to lead with that, to say, honey, like, I want your dreams to come true. Your goals are my goals and it's important to me. But also, I have to be honest with you about how this is affecting me, how the thought of this is affecting me, how it's making my stomach drop. I am afraid that if we say yes to this, here's what will happen to me. And so we've really got to talk together about, is this a cost we're willing to bear? And so, first of all, you're using I language about how this is going to affect me. You're starting with a soft lead in of, I care about you. You are my teammate. That part is solid. And so that attachment reassurance, even that, like, I got you, but I don't know how we're going to solve this situation. And so we together, the language of we
Mm-hmm.
got to talk about this. We got to try to find a solution where we can figure out our next steps, but where we can also feel like a team.
Mhm.
And whatever you're facing together in your marriage, if you can stay a team while you're doing it, you can solve anything. That's the key. That's the most important thing. And so always appealing to what's for the good of the team here. How can we be a team? How can we make decisions that really work for us both? I think that's what it comes back to. And then it doesn't invite defensiveness. It invites coming toward each other, working together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So good. So good. And I love how you talk about letting your husband be a hero.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tell us more about that. That was something you said at the summit, and I just latched on to that because
Yeah.
there's something in it that resonates with me. And I think part of it is because I try to put myself in the hero spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll come in and rescue everyone. I'll save the day. I'll take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I'm meant to carry that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, your husband can't help you fix a situation that you haven't verbalized, or if you haven't told him what you're struggling with, what you need, he can't come and save the day. He can't be a teammate in helping you fix that. And the ironic thing in this situation was, by asking my husband, and it wasn't even really a question, it was more a statement, I don't think I will be okay if we do this. By allowing him in on the reality of that, I gave him the opportunity to pull back on something. That was the heroic thing, when he did less so that he could be there with me. But yeah, giving the other person the chance to meet you in what you need. I think you're right. As women, we do so often try to carry that for other people, try to be the problem solver and the soother and the fixer and the, like, Thanksgiving hostess of life. Just make sure that it's like a lifestyle, to make sure everybody's
Right.
got their water and their napkin and their snacks. And we can't sustain that all the time. And I think sometimes we run the risk of cutting our husbands out of the picture because we're so
Yeah.
capable. We're so willing to just do it all on our own. And sometimes we got to be willing to say, I need your help. I need you to be my teammate. I need you to help me renegotiate this in a different way because I want you on my team. And so whether being the hero means stepping up and doing something more, or heroically taking the humble step down and saying, okay, go for it, girl. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on your team. I think both can be really powerful when we allow him the space to step up to the plate.
I think what
Now, when you
go ahead, Brenda.
I have a quick question. You had mentioned several times that when you received the phone call, you had felt like a pit in your stomach,
Mm-hmm.
and you had how long were you experiencing that before you communicated that to your husband?
Ooh, I mean, it was probably a 10-minute time frame, if that.
Okay,
The thing was, though, I had experienced that feeling many times.
right.
And so by the time we were ready to talk about it, I had held it back in its full, honest form because I didn't want to hurt him. And I
Okay.
didn't want to be extreme and, and say something too soon about making a change. But by the time those 10 minutes had gone by, I was calm enough to speak fairly and to say, here's what I'm going through. Here's what I want for you. Here's what I want for us. But I had also, in a way, strategically not said something long enough to get my thoughts together about how is this lifestyle affecting me? What do I need more of that I'm not experiencing? And so to have a few minutes to settle down was important. But also, I had done the reflection
Mhm.
for a long time before that to know what about this is not working for me, and to realize that my value as a person was equally important, that
Yeah.
my dreams and my functioning. So it's both, and it's in the moment, calming yourself down, and also really taking the time on your own to understand what's fair for me to ask for here, because
Mhm.
of the fact that I matter as an equal member of this team.
Okay, because I wanted to put that out, that feeling in which you described, because there could be some listeners who are experiencing that in their relationship and not knowing what to do with it or when to respond to it, or if it's something they should be responding to, because we tend to, as women, think that, oh, this is my problem.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to get to the point of, well, no, you need to communicate that as soon as you feel that you're comfortable in communicating it, so that it's something you both can work on. So that's the reason why I was kind of asking, not just in that moment, but overall, was this a feeling you were carrying around for a minute, and then you realized I got to speak to it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great question. And I think we have to pay attention to those physical things. Your body knows some stuff.
Mhm.
And our physical reactions and our emotional reactions are all generated in the brain from information we take in. It's all valid, because it's a real part of what we're experiencing. And so when people are experiencing that pit in their stomach, to take notice of it. Okay, something's not right here.
Yeah.
Something feels heavy. I'm uncomfortable with this and I'm not sure why. I think there is a parsing out process to pause for a little bit and say, okay, what of this do I have any control over? What are the ways I might be contributing to this dynamic by not having spoken up, or by not valuing myself correctly, or by being passive aggressive when I should have been direct about something that I needed? How have I contributed? What could I do about this? But also, what part of it is the situation that I need his help with? What part of it is him and his reactions that maybe I've tried to say something before and he shut me down,
Mhm.
because he wasn't in a place to hear it? And so really paying attention to those cues as the first piece of information that, okay, something here needs to change.
Yeah.
What is it? And I think we got to be really honest with ourselves about, what am I bringing to this picture? Because again, we want to be fair. We don't want to accuse externally, but it takes two to tango. It's a two-way street. And so what part can we ask for his help with? And what part can we say, hey, I've wanted to bring this up to you, but anytime I've tried to approach the topic, I just feel this huge wall come up from you. And I get this is your dream. This is a big deal. This is what we've been working on for a decade. But I want to just ask you to hear me out before the wall goes up. Could you be in it with me for a minute? And so even just addressing some of the barriers that have been there, maybe things he's done, maybe things you've done,
Yeah.
that have made it hard to communicate. But that pit in the stomach is important to pay attention to, or the headache or the exhaustion or whatever it is that people feel. That's your cue that something's not working.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. I I think what's resonating with me so much about this is like and what makes me cry is because I've done it wrong so many times.
Mm.
Like I've had the conversation wrong, and and also like, and maybe I didn't always do it wrong, but he wasn't in a place to receive it. And I
Sure.
didn't, and the timing was not the right time or something. And when I listen to the language that you use, it's very different than how I've talked to my husband. I'm like, oh, that's so good. I need a
Yeah.
script. I need somebody to like tell me what to say, because this is not how it comes out. But I think part of the problem is that when we get to that place where it's been weeks or months or years, we will, we allow ourselves to be triggered, and our partners also allowing themselves to be triggered, because it's been a recurring theme.
Yeah.
Like we've tried to start that conversation, and we used extreme language, and they got defensive, and then it blew up in a fight, and we said, well, I'm not going to do that again until the next time we blow up. And it becomes this like pattern, because we haven't figured out how to talk like you talk.
It is a practiced thing, really. And our marriage started out very stressful because we didn't know how to talk like that to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a learned
behavior.
skill. But something that I talk about a lot with people is to narrate your intentions as you're having a conversation like that, as a way of opening in a soft way. So in a scenario like you're describing, you could say, hey, I know it hasn't gone well in the past when we've talked about this. And frankly, I'm a little nervous because I don't want to trigger you and I don't want to get defensive. You're narrating that as you go. But here's why I'm hoping to come back to this conversation with you, because there's something here that's important about how we are a team together. And you're my best teammate. I want you on my team. I want to get better at this. I want to get better at figuring out how we negotiate our needs. Is that something you'd be up for talking about with me?
Yeah.
And if he says, yeah, but I really need a snack first, like, go get a snack.
Get him a snack.
Or like, yeah, but I just got off this really stressful phone call. Can we come to it after the kids are in bed tonight? Can we set aside a time Saturday to go out for coffee and really give this the attention it deserves? When you set the parameters together for the conversation before you have it, it's really a way of being generous and hospitable and extending that olive branch of like, I'm bringing this up not because I want to hurt you, but because I want to be a better teammate to you. And I want to share with you how you can be a better teammate to me, because we both win when that happens. Would you like to win together?
Yeah. Yes.
So good. So good. That sounds so different than I always and you never and
you.
every time.
Yeah. The other thing too, if I was in my triggered feelings about this when that phone call came, it would be very easy for me to say, you don't value me.
Mm-hmm.
I always come last. You this, I this. And when it comes back to that getting emotionally regulated place, we have to really challenge that and come at it from a different angle. And so sometimes it can also help too to say, you know what, this situation has us set up to fail, where it becomes the two of you against the situation, against Yellowstone, against Montana. How are we going to figure this out? So that it doesn't become this battle, because I know he does value me very much, but also I have to give him the chance to demonstrate that and ask for what I need specifically, as I also show that he matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, this is so good. This is so good. So Rachel, one of the things that we like to do on our show is make sure that we give our listeners an opportunity to do something with what they've learned. So what is something that you would suggest to our listeners that they could do to take bold action this week?
Mm-hmm. I think it's got to start with awareness and reflection. So if you feel like there's something you're carrying resentment about, or anger, or it gets heated, or that pit in your stomach, take some time to sit with that and ask yourself and journal, what need is not being met here? What is going on underneath this that's driving my anger or my resentment? Is it about me feeling unloved, or is it about me feeling unsafe? Because it's always some version of one of those things. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, sometimes I've even made I'll make a journal list down one column, things that are hard, things that could make it better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you can do that with your relationship too, or decisions that you're trying to make, things that are hard, situations that we are up against, or decisions. This is a big opportunity, but also I'm dying at home with the kids. That's hard. What could make it better? And then you can bring that what could make it better list to your husband and say, hey, I've been thinking about this. Here are the places that I'm struggling. This is a situation I think we are up against. What do you think of this list of possibilities? Is there anything on here you could get on board with? Is there anything you'd be willing to try? Or do you have ideas? So I think the first step is noticing what hurts and try to figure out why, because then you'll be in a much more equipped place to begin a conversation where you're asking for specific practical things instead of characterological, why are you this way? Can you be different? It's not really going to go anywhere. But how can we approach a situation differently so we both get more of what we need?
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. So,
Mhm.
Rachel, how do people work with you? Like, you've got patients and you've got clients. Like, if somebody was like, I need more of this in my life,
Yeah.
what is it that someone could do to take a next step with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you live in California, I am licensed to see therapy clients in California. I see couples and individuals. But for those of you who are not, or who are maybe not looking for therapy, I also offer coaching. I do courses and workshops on how to talk to your husband about anything and the specific words to say and how to navigate some of these things. I host a podcast called the Vibrant Marriage Podcast. And so you can find the podcast episodes and all of those coaching offerings at vibrantmarriage.co. My therapy website is rachelengels.com. So either of those will get you started on the path to a more vibrant marriage and reclaiming that joy together that you're made for.
Amazing. And then tell us something that you're working on that you're really excited about for the future in your own business.
Ooh, I've been doing a lot of work in the last several years with trauma therapy and EMDR and helping people overcome and finally get over things that have been sticking with them for a long time. And so I'm really looking forward to incorporating more and more of that in my couples work, in eventual retreats for couples where we can go to a beautiful place and work through some of your trauma together so that you can show up in your relationship freed from some of that triggering baggage and just start on a cleaner baseline for the connection that you could have together. So just broadening and integrating more fun things like that over time.
I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it. And I just want to give a little shout out to Rachel because Rachel was at my retreat in Italy the last time we went. And she, like, kind of unexpectedly, she was kind of sharing about what she was talking about related to it's EMDR. Is that what it is? Which is, tell us what that is.
Yeah,
in
it stands
terms.
for eye desensitization. Wait a minute. eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And so it's a gold standard way of dealing with trauma. But there are some lighter variations of tricks that I've learned, and yeah, whipped some of those out in Italy.
Well, it was incredible, and I have to tell you, like, we were like, if you want to do this thing, Rachel's going to show us how to process something that's holding you back. And we all did this thing together. And I got to tell you, the breakthrough that I had was tremendous, like in processing something that had happened years ago that I was holding on to and that I knew was keeping me stuck from going to my next level. And that work that we did, even in a few minutes in a group situation, was transformational. And so I want to like reaffirm that you are the real deal. And like some of these things, when we talk about trauma processing, people are like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. You guys, it was so freeing to do this work, even like a short, even in the short amount of time that we were doing it, I had a noticeable difference in it, and it never came back. Like I didn't have to like go back and redo that again and again and again. Like it was incredible. So you guys, Rachel's the real deal. Super.
That's awesome.
I'm so thrilled that you got to experience that. That's one of the joys of my life, is watching people get free of things so they can move forward into a more joyful future, for sure.
All right. All right. Well, beautiful, beautiful. Everybody go to Rachel's beautiful website. It's one of the most gorgeous websites I've seen. And take a next step with her. If this feels like something that's resonating with you, I want to encourage you to do that. Reach out to her and see if there's something that she's got coming up that could be really transformational for you, because freedom is on the other side of dealing with this. And we all know what happens when we just stay stuck and don't do the work, is we don't get to accomplish our dreams or support the people we love at the level that we want to. Like, none of it happens. So beautiful. And Brenda, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you?
I'm sorry. Reach me at brendastroud.com. That's what my website, as well as my Facebook's the same. My name, Brenda A. Stroud. And then and if you want to email me, it's hello@brendastroud.com. We try to make it as simple as possible.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if you all love what you're hearing Rachel talk about, I want to encourage you to share this episode with a sister who needs to hear this, maybe even listen to it with your partner. And if you love what you're hearing that Rachel's doing, where she's taken her business and her expertise and she's turned it into a coaching program, I want to invite you to learn more about how you can do that. And you can register for my upcoming workshop at AndreaEngstrom.com. All right, sisters, thank you so much, Rachel, for being here and for sharing your story and the knowledge that you've gained from your experiences over the years.
My pleasure. It was great being here with you both.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, Brenda, thank you so much for being here as well.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So till next time, I'm Andrea Engstrom, and we are your sisters in business, encouraging you to take action on your dreams. Show up to your life with power and authenticity. Be bold, be tenacious, and make it happen.
Bye.